Hey guys, and welcome to a battle featuring two evil factions. Leo is leading the Vampire Coast up against Melkorn and the Warriors of Chaos as the two forces of evil do decide to clash against each other here. So for the forces of the Vampirates, it looks like a pretty awesome build indeed. We have Deckhand Mob Polearms guarding the flanks against enemy cavalry and hounds and the like. And for the front line, we have cheerfully cheap or cheerfully miserable, I suppose, zombie pirate deckhand mobs. I'm assuming a deckhand mob doesn't live the most glorious of lives. Also rocking right up in the front, leading the charge, we have a vampire fleet captain of vampires coming in with Raise Dead and Invocation of Mehek, as well as Taunt. So the good competitive toolkit for such a lord. We do have one unit of Depth Guard, which I'm always a massive fan of having one of these elite units mixed in with the kind of more rugged and basic troops to help chew through the enemy and really make them pay the price for dragging down all the other zombies. Of course, when you are bringing a vampire fleet captain of vampires, that normally signals that Luther Harkin is on the field, and he's going to be up on top of his mighty Terrorgeist here, doing a very odd neck animation. And he's, of course, going to be bringing Horn Swaggle, Power Siphon, as well as a Death Shriek. And, of course, he does have the Magic Void, one of the best characters in the game. He has the ability to snipe people out of his pistol, pretty decent melee combatant, and there's plenty of HP to heal up. And that's all on top of those breath attacks and Terrorgeist. In the secondary battle line, we have a ton of zombie pirate gunnery mobs. These guys, again, relatively cheap, much more cheerful than their combat brethren, as they simply get to sit back and lace the enemy full of bullets. Should be good up against the high armour a lot of the Forces of Chaos can bring. We also have the Regiment of Renowned Mongols in the back line of the Night Terrors. These guys do cause terror themselves and will actually chew apart infantry with deadly efficiency. However, they can rampage, which can get them into some rather tricky situations. Look, that looks like it's going to be it for the Chaos Forces, or the, not Chaos Forces, sorry, the Coast Forces. Double Scurvy Dogs as well on the flank there. Now, this Chaos build is bad to the bone. It's my type of build. A full-on punch your opponent in the face as hard as possible rush build. We have some Chaos Marauders, it looks like, dotted on either flank, but the centre pocket is going to be a mixture of Forsaken, as well as the Regiment of Renowned, the Demon Spewer. Units you don't get to see terribly often. It'll be interesting to see how they do perform up against the Depth Guard, but they can be able to chew through zombies very, very quickly. Of course, Forsaken have immune to Psychology, which can be pretty useful up against some horrifying units that the opponents can bring. We have Aspiring Champions, one on either flank as well, who are going to be encouraging nearby enemy troops. These guys are relatively expensive. For what they actually bring to the table, in my opinion. Only 12 per unit means they take a long time to cut down the enemy. However, with those glowing shields and swords and all those skulls dotted around, how can you not love them? Backing up with the Forsaken Rush is going to be Triple Chaos Spawn, who is going to saturate on top of the elite troops here to really grind through the enemy as quickly as possible. We have Archaon the Ever Chosen coming in with Flaming Sword, Fireball, and Burning Head. Looks like he's also going to be bringing his mighty Slayer of Kings. Should allow him to destroy a lot of enemies, but he's going to be on foot today, which is a little bit interesting. He does get around the battlefield far slower. However, he's going to be a little bit harder to snipe out at least. You also have Double Exalted Hero up in the sky. Looks like both of them are going to be bringing Deadly Onslaught as well as the Hellfire Sword. Should be interesting stuff. The Manticore is definitely going to want to shut down Luther Harkin, but on their own terms, where they're not going to get obliterated by gunfire. So definitely going to want to delay the engagement up in the skies until the Forsaken and Marauders have started to pressure that front line and to worry the gunnery mobs with, a threat overload. Both forces are going to advance in. Luther Harkin's going to float forward, although he's getting a little over-eager here, which is going to make the Exalted Heroes chase him down, but good micromanagement so far. Just getting in here, taunting a little bit, getting a few free kills before fleeing the battlefield once more. And these deckhand mobs are in for the fight of their life here. They're going to get chewed apart by Forsaken very quickly. Big shots coming onto the Chaos Spawn, doing pretty good damage straight off the bat. And we have a nice summon in the front line as well, which is going to break the charge of the Demon Spew. No, they push right through. They care not for your petty summons. they're going to charge headlong in and start chewing through the deckhand mobs. How the Depth Guard have got in here as well, and they sound like they're going to be a pretty good counter to the Demon Spew. Huge damage done on both sides as the Chaos Spawn also rush into the front lines, and you can see how quickly the deckhand mobs are getting absolutely torn to pieces, but a hail of bullets are coming in, and there's no backline pressure coming from this Chaos Force, deciding to go for brute strength and pushing through the front line, which they are doing very quickly, however, so you might be able to hunt down these troops in the back line. Up in the skies, double Exalted Hero have managed to pin in Luther Harkin. Looks like we are getting the Hellfire Swords as well as a Flaming Sword, I believe, coming down. Should allow them to do pretty decent damage to Luther Harkin. And a lovely Burning Head is going to be shutting down the Gunnery Mob, which is focus firing them down. And Luther is getting absolutely demolished despite the taunt he has placed on that enemy. Now, the Night Terrors have pushed their way into the front line, and they're going to be a fantastic counter alongside those Depth Guard to take down all the Forsaken and do good work to the Chaos Spawn as well. They've rampaged, they don't mind at the moment. They are hunting down troops they want to face, and Luther Harkin is getting absolutely destroyed here. He has popped into Crumbling, negative 39 leadership. However, the Gunnery Mobs have managed to rally, putting some decent pressure on the Exalted Heroes. Luther is going to dive down onto the Forsaken, hoping that the Polearms can come in and save him. And Invocation Heck going down on Luther once more. He's incredibly low, his leadership is falling drastically, but of course he crumbles, he does not break from the field. Any normal lord at this point would be being chased off, and an Exalted Hero could be delegated to force him off the battlefield. And Luther Harkin, though, minus 50 leadership, only 700 health, but still standing firm due to the fact he's, basically unbreakable. He's going to be falling back here and getting back up into the skies. As for the main battle line, Night Terrors are very beat up, but 26 kills has allowed them to chew through the enemy quite nicely. Archaon struggling to find a home, as he does lace in a fireball. Looks like it clips the Depth Guard, though, instead of Luther Harkin, who has only now just regained his leadership and is on about 500 health. Zombie Pirate Gunnery Mob handgunners are slowly whistling down at the Exalted Heroes, who once again chase Luther, but he's getting another invocation popped on him, and the Forsaken are now pretty much broke off as well, allowing the Night Terrors to help support. But Luther down to just 500 health. He's bouncing back and forth, but is surviving. Aspiring Champions up to 40 kills, helping chew through polearms, but the backline is relatively secure here from the Vampire Coast. A few units have been shut down. Looks like an Exalted Hero is having a bit of fun as well. And Archaon on foot is going to town on this Vampire Fleet, Captain of Vampires, but he certainly needs to get some more Burning Heads off to try and shut down these guns, as there's not much mobility left. One Exalted Hero has been dealt with by a combination of the regiment round Mongols, as well as Luther Harkin, who gets up into the sky before dropping a shriek down on the hero. And it looks like he could be done for, the momentum suddenly slipping away from the forces of Chaos as they struggle to shut down the handgunner corps. Archaon as well has been hit by a power siphon as well as a hornswaggle as Luther Harkin comes in for the assassination. Exalted Hero Manticore is here to support, but Luther is clinging on to dear life, down to just 200 health here and negative leadership as Archaon turns to engage. But it looks like once again he's going to manage to slip away here and get back up into the skies with just a sliver of health, but an invocation could pop him up to relatively safe, at least for the end game. Lovely foreign arc here from the handgunners, dotted all around, getting as many shots as they can into Archaon, who's currently pinned in up against Depth Guard. In the distance here, it looks like the Forsaken are finally being shattered off for good. Aspiring Champions trying to inspire hope in their people, but unfortunately for them, they're the only guys left, so there's no real people left to inspire. Archaon trying his best, slaying Depth Guard left, right and centre. He is of course the ever-chosen, the God of War. He is not going to go down without a fight here, up to 57 kills. Some of them against pretty elite troops, not doing too bad. I think one or two more Burning Heads are kind of needed at this point, but he is getting completely obliterated from all sides and is being demolished quite heavily here. So it looks like he may be going down. And Night Terrors as well have done pretty good, up to 53 kills. Looks like arm losses are about to set in, and somehow Luther, on just 400 health, managed to survive the battle. Very well played to both combatants there. An incredibly close game. Towards the end, the coast started to pull more and more away from it, but still awesome Chaos build and really did some massive damage in the early doors. And I think if he could have finished off Luther in that initial engagement, he probably would have had the battle. So well played to both of these champs. Massive shout out to Leo for sending this one in via my Discord. There's a link down below in the description if you do want to send in your replays. So yeah, very well played to both of these guys. If you did enjoy the video, feel free to give it a big old thumbs up, comment and subscribe for more Total War Warhammer content. And one of the reasons I want to show this battle, apart from the fact I love this Chaos build coming in with the crazy amounts of Forsaken, even the Doomspew getting 128 kills despite the fact they're up against the Depth Guard as well, and the Chaos Spawn Forsaken Rush is always a sight to behold, and the Double Exalted Hero as well is a really good counter to Luther for the most part. But the main reason I wanted to show off this Vampire Pirates build in particular is the power of the Crumbling mechanic, in my humble little duck opinion. You may not agree there, but I think if Luther Harkin was any other lord who actually had leadership, he probably would have shattered quite a while before he actually, I mean, he never even died here, but he would have probably shattered relatively early on in the battle. He was crazy low health, minus 50 something leadership, which is normally, you know, a bit of a doomsday icon. But because Crumbling works the way it does, and the more lower leadership you have, the kind of more damage you do take in, and Luther having so much leadership, of course, because he is a general, makes him incredibly hard to kill, despite the fact so much damage to get put on him. Apart from that, though, I think, despite the Crumbling mechanic making, I think, Coast rather powerful, it was still a really tough game, still very well played by Leo as well to drag it through. It was by no means kind of an easy fight, and just because Vampire Coast have Crumbling and are very powerful, certainly does not make them unbeatable, or as good as I think a lot of people kind of say they are. I still think they probably are the top faction though, but enough of my ramblings about them anyway. Depth Guard did pretty good, love them as an inclusion in the centre pocket alongside the Knight Terrors to help out the chaff, and good discipline as well with the gunning mobs, protecting them and allowing them to help take down the key targets of Archaon as well as the Exalted Heroes. Anyway guys, hope you enjoyed. Until next time, peace, and as always, stay awesome.